Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Detective Daniel Herschel is awaiting his sentencing right now for robbery and other crimes that a jury found him guilty of as part of his role in the gun trace task force. But they weren't the only issues that people had with Detective Herschel on the street, including Baltimore rapper Young Moose, who says that Herschel harassed him and his family. He even rapped about Detective Herschel. Detective Herschel here, swear to God, he ain't right. Last year, Young Moose's attorney spoke to me about the run-ins with Herschel.
Daniel Herschel has a history, a demonstrated history of police brutality that's resulted in multiple thousands and thousands of dollars being paid out to victims. And he has personally demonstrated a real desire to attack one of my clients, which has caused a great deal of aggravation in a very bright young man's future. Officer Herschel engaged in a pattern of harassment of my client, Kevron Evans, also known as Young Moose. And I filed multiple motions to try to alleviate some of the damage that Herschel had done to my client. And it was like trying to pull teeth out of a tiger. I got very little cooperation from the courts. Was not allowed to get to his internal affairs records despite motions to do so.
According to a published report, Young Moose believes that his encounters with Herschel severely damaged his career. Herschel will join 7 other officers in federal prison as part of the gun trace task force scandal. I'm Mike Helgren reporting for WJZ.
Local rapper called out convicted criminal cop in a song years ago, but no one listened. A young rapper who preached against police brutality named the criminal cop in a rap song 4 years ago, described his crimes, and filed a complaint against him, but no one believed him. By John Vibes, February 20, 2018. Baltimore MD. The recent conviction of officers on the Baltimore Police Department's Gun Trace Task Force has exposed some of the worst corruption that this country has seen in years. 8 officers were found guilty on various corruptions charges, and at least a dozen others are currently being investigated for their involvement in these crimes. In court, it was revealed that these officers regularly planted evidence, robbed and extorted innocent people, and even carried around bags filled with BB guns to plant on people they shot. In the aftermath of the trial, some Maryland lawmakers have even suggested disbanding the entire Baltimore Police Department and starting from scratch. The fact that this case could potentially bring down the whole department casts more doubt on the official story of Sean Suter, the Baltimore police officer turned whistleblower who was mysteriously shot and killed just before he was set to testify. This remains the only unsolved case of an officer being murdered in the history of the Baltimore Police Department. Former Baltimore Police Detective Daniel Herschel was among the worst offenders in the task force, and his name was notorious on the streets of Baltimore. So notorious was his name, that he was called out by a local rapper long before his crimes were made public. Baltimore rapper Kevron Evans, aka Young Moose, says that he was regularly harassed by Herschel, which put a significant strain on his life and career. After his first run-in with Herschel, Moose refused to back down and instead began speaking out against police brutality and corruption, which made the Baltimore Police Department crack down on him even harder. Herschel is used to doing that to people where it's no response. Once it happens, I'm supposed to just go about my business and don't say nothing about it. But Moose was young at the time and arrogant. He came home and responded, Moose's father Big Kev told Vice News in a 2017 article titled, How a Dirty Baltimore Cop's Vendetta Derailed a Promising Rapper's Career. In the song Tired from his 2014 mixtape OTM3, Young Moose called out Herschel by name, saying, Detective Herschel, he ABH, I swear to God he ain't right/heard about my rap career, he trying to FK up my life, as well as, they get away with everything when the FK this gonna stop. Last year, Young Moose's attorney spoke to WJZ about their case against Herschel. Daniel Herschel has a demonstrated history of police brutality that's resulted in multiple thousands and thousands of dollars being paid out to victims. and he has personally demonstrated a real desire to attack one of my clients, which has caused a great deal of aggravation in a very bright young man's future. I filed multiple motions to try to alleviate some of the damage that Herslow had done to my client, and it was like trying to pull teeth out of a tiger. I got very little cooperation from the courts, he said. Hopefully, in light of these recent findings on Herslow and the Gun Trace Task Force, young Moose will finally find some vindication. Baltimore police have a reputation for using strong-arm mafioso tactics to intimidate fellow officers out of turning on the gang. As we reported back in 2014, Baltimore Detective Joe Crystal became a target of intimidation for his entire department after testifying against other officers in a misconduct case. Following his testimony, he received threats from other officers and even found a dead rat on his car one day. For a history of how corrupt, violent, and deadly Baltimore cops are, take a look at our archives here.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.